Hello. This is my almost 4 year update. I will be 4 years off on January 4th, 2020. I cannot believe I have dealt with this for 4 years and longer because I was in tolerance before I came off. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, I'll just run through my story quickly. But I do have all my progress from 6 months until this point on my channel if you just click on my name. And you can subscribe or hit the bell, and then if I upload any more videos, you'll get notified. Anyway, so I was on, looking back and looking through my medical records, I have discovered that I was on more than 40 psychiatric medications from 2003 until 2016. So 13 years of drug cocktails that civilian and VA psychiatrists put me on for post-traumatic stress disorder, panic attacks, insomnia, anxiety, depression, you name it. And who knows what was actually, things that I was really suffering from and what were actually side effects from the multiple medications. So it's been quite a traumatizing experience looking back at all my treatment, and I'll be writing about that more in the very near future. I just been a little busy. So basically that was my story. I was in Iraq. I was military. I did not have the greatest, time growing up either, but I was completely functional. I was high achieving. I was exemplary soldier with a blemish-free record. I had more awards than some of my commanders. I was always in charge of everything. I was always on time, never missed work. I was, good conduct, 7 years in the military. And then I went to Iraq. I almost died from a gastrointestinal, who knows what was happening to me, but I lost 40 pounds very quickly when I got to the combat zone. But I also was given vaccines and anti-malaria, antibiotics, birth control shot, all kinds of stuff, and basically I just unraveled. I lost weight. I was terrified that I was either going to die from an RPG or an IED or, getting shot at, or I was going to die from whatever disease I had. So I was put on benzos immediately when I was returned to Germany after a medical evacuation. And thus began 13 years of medication therapy that only made me worse and never made me better. And I decided to come off slowly but surely. And it took me like 10 years to taper everything and to get away and not let them keep putting me on more stuff. So here I am 4 years after all tapers are over. And I still live with neurological, central nervous system, brain damage, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it withdrawal. I have withdrawn from drugs. I am far outside of the window of withdrawal. So what is left is damage. I don't like that language of withdrawal anymore because it's not withdrawal. I haven't withdrawn from anything in a couple years. So I wrote a list of all my, so I don't forget what symptoms I'm left with. So I want to put a trigger warning or whatever you want to call it. Not to compare yourself to me. I'm just sharing my experience of what has happened to me. This is individual process. Everybody has to taper at their own rate because there's no science behind it. Everybody's going to have different symptoms. Nobody knows what really is damaged in us. We have lots of theories. I could run through those too, but that's another video. So everybody's healing process is different. Everyone's genes are different. Everyone needs certain, nutrients or diet or exercise. Everybody's different. So please do not let me scare you. This is just what is happening to me, not what's going to happen to anybody else. This is just and like I said, it's because I was put on more than 40 medications in a 13-year period. And so this is what happens when that happens. Okay, so my most affected system, my worst symptoms are my vision, vestibular, and perception. And what I mean by that is I see things in slow motion. So when I look at a hubcap on the highway, it's literally like freeze frames. I don't see just motion. I see the hubcap in freeze frames. If I look at a ceiling fan, I see it in slow motion. I have where, like, when I'm on the highway driving, the trees are going by, the cement is coming underneath you, you see the lines ticking, and then the sky is kind of static, but your car's moving and there's cars coming in toward you. All of that is so much visual information that, like, my brain almost cannot process it at the same time, and I start to feel like I'm losing my equilibrium or my anchor, and I don't know, like, which way is up and which way is down and what's stable and what's moving and what's not, and I get completely overwhelmed and almost, like, dizzy, and then that causes anxiety, and then that anxiety makes the symptoms worse, and then the symptoms cause worsening anxiety, and it almost feels like I'm gonna crash. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I can't drive. I can't process anything, and it's terrifying. Okay, but I probably, against better judgment, did not quit driving because I didn't have a choice. Like, I don't have family or friends or anybody to, like, buy me food or to, like, take me to get the dog food for the dog. Okay, so I had to drive. The second thing I want to say is that, you know, like, just like everybody has their own method of healing, you know, like, because we have different genes and different medications that we took and different damage, we also have different ways that we cope with things. Okay, so my way of coping might not be yours, but please do not take away my method of coping by saying, like, oh, you didn't have it as bad as I did. That is disgusting behavior, and it's really nasty, and it's mean, and I would never do that to you. Okay, so I'm kind of tired of people saying, well, like, if you still drive, then you must not have it that bad. Okay, I've been to, like, 5 doctors. I've been to 16 months of vision and vestibular therapy trying to help me with this symptom. Okay, I've never read anybody who's seen things in slow motion. So I have a different constitution of you, and I really of some people. I chalk that up to, I was trained, I was in the military, I was in a freaking war, I've been, like, living in the woods, peeing in a bucket, wiping, you know, like, giving myself a bath with a washcloth in a bucket. Okay, so, like, I've gone through different things than the normal person, the average person has. So I'm not saying it's making me better than anyone. It just, I've been through different things that have almost prepared me for dealing with a extremely high level of being uncomfortable and being in pain and being terrified and being full of anxiety. Okay, if you think about, like, being in a war zone, of course you're scared. Okay, so I lived scared for 6 straight months every single day that I was going to die. So in a way, that kind of prepared me to deal with this situation and having high levels of anxiety and still pushing through it, and even having, like, akathisia type stuff and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I just get a little hurt when I see other benzo survivors tear down other benzo survivors and saying, like, well, they don't have it that bad because they put makeup on, or they don't have it that bad because they went to the grocery store. Like, I get it that you're in pain and that's your way of making yourself feel better and, like, to try to get some kind of underhanded validation, but it's really not nice. And we're all suffering, and it's relative to everyone. And what we have to do to live through that is individual and relative to the person. And, like, that should be respected. It's not a freaking contest. I'm sorry for getting upset, but, like, I'm sick of it. I see it all the time, and this is why healed people leave groups, because they see the nasty behavior and the cliques and the meanness, and I really think it's a symptom. Like, people are irritable and they're crabby and they're in pain and they're suffering and they tear each other down, and I just don't want any part of it. So enough of that. So, like I said, I did 16 months of October, November, December. Yeah, 14 months. So 14 months of vision and vestibular therapy, trying to work out my issues with, like, my vision is everything is coming in too fast. My brain is not processing it. Then I get dizzy. Then I get anxiety. And it just get worse. So all I can say from that process was that I did not get better. I only improved by 3 points out of 100, and the doctor said that was not clinically significant. The diagnosis that I got, you know, they don't know anything about benzos, obviously, but they said that I have visual vertigo and visual motion hypersensitivity and post-trauma vision syndrome, which apparently my physical therapist believes in, but the doctor does not. So, in other words, they don't know what it is. The doctor also said, I saw a neuro-ophthalmologist, like, top doctor in the country. He said that he sees 3 people like me a week. That it's like that when people like me go to all their doctors and then nobody can figure it out, then they go to him. So he's the one that gets all of us, and then he believes us because he sees it over and over again. But he never, you know, confirmed or denied that benzos caused it. He didn't even tell me a cause. He just said, He didn't recommend any further testing or medications, and there was a 50-50 chance that it would go away. And I've pretty much chalked it up to it's not going away. I mean, I've had it for 4 years. Like, if it goes away, that's a miracle, but I'm not expecting it. So how I cope with that is these problems is just, I think, radical acceptance. And when I'm driving and I'm scared and it's terrible, I pull over, or I just deal with it and push through it, and I try to use the strategies that the physical therapist taught me. So, like, she taught me to look for an anchor. So if I look at the horizon line, it's like things are less moving, I guess. If I look at the inside line of when I'm driving, that tends to bring the anxiety down, because I can focus on like one object that I see that's not moving. So I do like little strategies like that to try to cope with it. But if anything, the physical therapy, all it did was made me less scared of it. So it's like, okay, it's there. It's not going to kill you. You're not going to die. It's just extremely uncomfortable, and it's like torture, but you're going to be okay. So that's how I've dealt with that. Let me move on quick, because I don't want to take up a lot of time. So I still have a little bit of what I would call DR and DP, dissociation, derealization, depersonalization, and really it feels like it's just extremely high anxiety, and it's like can get so bad that I don't know, it just flips a switch, and then I feel like I'm not really here, things aren't really real, everything looks too bright, colors look too bright, people, like, when they start talking, I'm like, are they real? Am I real? Like, is this real? Am I dreaming? Am I awake? And of course that causes more anxiety. But again, I just cope with it. It doesn't keep me at home. It doesn't keep me in bed. I just deal with it. I'm kind of used to it. I think I'm just used to suffering. Something I have to deal with. Okay, I still have nerve pain, but mostly it's like really, it's calmed down a lot. Like, I used to have it in my legs so bad I could barely sleep. I used to have nerve pain in my hips that like felt like my hips bones were ripping off of the bone, and now I only have it like in one hip and on one side instead of both, so that's helpful. But I get random like pains in my organs, and it scares the crap out of me, because I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna have to get surgery? Is this gallbladder? Is, just shooting pains. My teeth hurt sometimes. Right now I have a pain in my wrist that like won't go away, but I sprained it like a month ago, I think, and it just like lingers. The bottom of my foot on my right side still kind of hurts. It's like this sciatica, plantar fasciitis kind of pain. I don't know. Let me think if there's pain anywhere else. Not really. My sleep is still terrible. I sleep all night. I just wake up like 2 to 3 times. I think I have to go to the bathroom, but when I go to the bathroom, it's like there's nothing really there. So I'm like, why did I wake up? And then sometimes I wake up and I'm wide awake for like 2 hours. And so I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I do use a CPAP machine that has cut down on the number of, like, what is it called? Events per hour. Like, I was having 16 events per hour, and now with the machine I'm only having 2. So that's helped. I still have this, I don't know what to call it, okay? I do not pace. I never did pace. But if you look at some of my earlier videos, and if you even like listen to my rate of speech and how I talk and how I'm moving and fidgeting or whatever, you can see that I'm highly restless and agitated, okay? Now, there's all this like controversy in the community, like, well, if you don't pace, then it's not akathisia. I don't know what to call it, okay? It's extremely high anxiety that is terror and like feels like you're skydiving without a parachute with a gun pointed at your head, and that you're gonna die at any second, okay? That is what I felt like for the first 8 months. Like, I'm gonna rip my skin off, intrusive thoughts, suicidal thoughts, like horrible agitation and restlessness, and I felt like Hulk Hogan, and I was gonna rip my shirt off. I don't know how else to explain, okay? But it continued. It like died down like 10% after that 6-month video, and then it like continued until 22 months. I had like constant intrusive thoughts and constant suicidal thoughts until 22 months off. And like, let me tell you that I was so disappointed, because I would read in the groups that people said, oh, I had it until 14 months. And I had it until 12 months. I never expected it to go on for 22 months, okay? It was freaking horrible. I'm glad that most of those are gone. Like, I still get them here and there, but it's almost like only when I feel like really high anxiety or really high stress, then I will get one, like, sporadically, But of course, like, I'm not going to do anything. It's just like, okay, there's another one of those thoughts, So What that's all that's to say is that I still have this like superhuman like energy, I guess you could say, in my body, like too much energy. And not it's not like manic, or I don't like medical language at all, but I definitely think it's like some kind of akathisia. I still rock back and forth, like when I'm in a line at the grocery store, or when I'm sitting in my car at a stop sign or a stoplight. It's extremely uncomfortable, and I can't really sit still. There's times when my anxiety or whatever, restlessness or agitation, I don't know what you want to call it, is so freaking high. I literally cannot stop moving. I can't sit still, but I am not pacing, okay? So I don't know what you want to call it. A lot of people call it inner akathisia. I believe that's what I have, and I've had it the whole time. And in my earlier videos, I don't even think I knew that's what it was, because I was so out of my mind. I couldn't even Google it to figure out what that was. So it was like later that I saw this like Barnes scale for akathisia, and I read it, and I was like, oh my god, I think that's what I have. But I'm almost glad that I didn't know that's what it was, because if you find the akathisia groups, they can be really scary, you know. But I can tell you, I was very close to suicide with that feeling in my body for over 2 years. There was times that I had to count my heartbeats to not kill myself. Constant talking to my friends. Like, it was absolutely insane and miserable. And I'm glad it's like died down, but it's not completely gone. So with that energy in my body, my symptoms are such that I can't sit at home. I cannot lay in bed. I cannot just do nothing. I cannot scroll on Facebook and just like stay home all day. So my way of coping with that symptom was to stay busy. And so when people see that, they're like, oh, you're pretty normal, you're functional. Well, like, okay, yes, you know, I am functional, but like I have to keep moving to not sit at home with that symptom. Does that make sense? So like the symptom was so uncomfortable, I have to stay busy, I have to keep moving. And part of me staying in school was to keep me in reality, because I felt like I was losing grip on reality. And that if I stay in school, that will force me to like be around people. That'll force my brain to try to act normal as much as possible. It'll give me structure and somewhere to be. And like, plus if I quit school, I lost all my VA benefits, and then I would have basically been homeless, because I would lose the monetary benefit that also comes with my school benefit. And I would never have gone back to school. I never would have been able to go back to school again, because once you lose your VA voc rehab slot, you can't get back in it. So it was my way of coping with the incredible suffering that I was experiencing. And like right now, me defending myself, I think is ridiculous. But like that's what you have to do, because there's so many mean people in the groups. And I think I'm just going to stop, because I don't really need to convince anybody. I'm just giving you a hint of what I was dealing with, okay? I'm just going to let it go at that, because I don't really care what those people want to say. Okay, so next symptom, I still have an intolerance of stress, heat, cold, and exercise. I notice that some days are better than others. Like some days I can handle it, within a reasonable amount of time or something. Like I can walk the dog in the cold and I'm fine. Other times I cannot. And I will get more dizzy. I will get more vision problems. I will get heart palpitations. I will feel like I'm going to pass out for no reason. And so like the stress thing was not good. The exercise makes me worse. At the beginning, I think it was making me worse, but I was so desperate for something to make me feel better that I just kept doing it. Because like I said, I think I had the akathisia. I didn't pace, but I was like trying to compulsively exercise to burn the energy off. But it, of course, never burned off, because like it's there constantly. So now, like the couple times that I've tried to reintegrate into exercise, I'm sure I did a little too much, too fast. Excuse me, but I would have to, like, I went to a boxing class with one of my professors, and I went, like, trust me, like 25% of what I would have normally gone, like strength wise or whatever. And I still had to sit in the car for like 2 hours because I was so dizzy I couldn't drive. So after like three chances of trying that, I decided I'm not going to be exercising anytime soon. Okay, next, stiffness and anxiety. So like something strange is that like sometimes, especially recently, I've had a lot of stress. I had a lot of stress when I was graduating from college, and then a lot of stress this last month because I moved out of my apartment and moved into an RV, and I'm living in an RV. And all of that stress and the change like caused me to get worse, especially my anxiety, but it doesn't feel like normal anxiety. It felt like physical. Like my nervous system was too sensitive. It kind of felt metallic. Like I feel jerky. I feel like people will, like I think I'll be fine because I'm in my own place, my own space, and I'm quiet and things are like within my control. But like the second I drive my car and get Starbucks, as soon as the person talks to me, I'm like I get caught in fight or flight mode just from like somebody talking to me. Or I'll walk the dog and a neighbor will say hi and I'm like, it's like my brain gets scared or something, and I can't explain it, but it's like every cell in my body is like terrified, and it gets caught in a fight or flight, and then like a couple minutes later I'm fine, and then I'm like back in my own zone, I'm fine. Or I'll be fine driving to a store, and then I get out of the store or get out of the car and walk into the store, and then I get caught in the fight or flight thing. And sometimes the fight or flight thing is so strong that like my whole body just tenses up and I get stiff and I lose my equilibrium, and then my vision symptoms get worse, and then I feel like really stiff and like I can't walk. So I don't know what the hell that is. I don't think any doctor knows what it is. We all have our theories, but that's what I deal with, especially lately. Last couple symptoms. Yes, I function. I'm able to drive, even though it's extremely uncomfortable. I can't work. Like, I tried to do a internship when I was in school. I think it was basically recommended that I not do what I was trained to do because of my own personal issues right now. So I'm not doing what I was training to do. And there was a couple times I had to leave because of vertigo, and I think I was having vestibular migraines where I got so bad of vertigo I couldn't move my head, and I had to be picked up from my practicum site. When people talk with their hands, I would get dizzy. So like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I can't do anything in that mental health professional world right now just because of my symptoms. Next, but what I have been doing is I'm taking part. I was filmed throughout my benzo withdrawal, and they started filming me at 10 months off, and now I'm 4 years off, and they filmed that process of healing. And of course, like, not a lot of the footage got into the movie, but enough did that you can see what it was like. But the film is called Medicating Normal. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Just look for Medicating Normal, the film. And we have a website. It just got launched a couple days ago. It's www.medicatingnormal.com. I'll put all this in the comments below, the caption or whatever. And so the film is going into film festivals. It's about informed consent, pharmaceutical corruption, overdiagnosis, overmedication, polypharmacy, a little bit about activism, I guess. And benzo withdrawal and SSRI withdrawal, and like how bad psychiatric drug withdrawal is. So there's like 5 stories in the film, and it takes you through like the process of reckoning like what happened to us, how we got off the drug, what happened afterwards, and why this is happening to so many people. So please, like, go look at the website www.medicatingnormal.com. Go look at Facebook. There's all these clips that are being released. We have a YouTube channel called Medicating Normal. Lots of information to share with your friends and family and caregivers, and hopefully you can see it. If you sign up for our newsletter, it'll you can get notified when we come to a film festival near you. So it's really good. I'm so excited to be a part of that. That's kind of my, like, I'm helping them a little bit with volunteering, only when I can and when I can handle it. And it's been good for my healing to have the validation of the film and to have all these experts say, like, yes, this is a real thing, because I can't really get that from my own doctors. So anyway, please follow. And then secondly, so what I'm doing now is, like I said, I'm living in an RV. I'm going to be making videos. I'm writing. I'm trying to just like come to terms about what the last 15 years of my life or more. Let me think. How long has it been? 16 years of either overdiagnosis, overmedication, polypharmacy, side effects, suicidal, and then trying to get off the meds and then try to heal from the meds. So like almost half of my life has been taken because of this, and like the reckoning for that has not been smooth, and like I go through periods of anger and just sadness that you know, what happened to my life. Like, all I did was go for help, and like, this is what happened. So I'm trying to do like as much as I can in the real world, not on social media, to like help the cause, to bring more awareness to it. So I hope this video can be helpful. I know it's like scary to hear somebody with 4 years off of all their meds and they still have symptoms, but I swear to God that like I feel better now, even with all those symptoms that I just went through, than I did when I was on the meds. I start to feel emotions a little bit, like I get a little bit of excitement. I haven't felt excitement in like over 10 years, okay? I care about what I wear, I take showers, like I brush my hair, like those things I was not doing. I was like considered seriously mentally ill, you know? And so even just a little bit of peace that I can get now is like so much better than what I was getting 5 years ago when I was on the meds. So it is worth it. It's just, I guess it's just different levels of suffering. Like you suffer on the meds or you suffer off of them, but I would rather suffer this way, you know? And it's not all that bad. It's not as scary as it was in the beginning. It's not even close to the level that it was in the beginning. The last year I've been, you know, I've traveled a lot. I feel a sense of peace that I never felt, you know, in the last 15 years. So, you know, it has been worth it. It's just, there's just residual damage. And I really am a proponent of radical acceptance and distracting yourself that like, okay, I have all these things wrong, but like I'm not going to like lay in bed and be upset about it. Like I'm going to try to do something to help the cause and try to enjoy, you know, like I love eating good food. So like even having an emotion of like enjoying food, I didn't have that, you know? So like to me it's a win. So I just accept what is happening. I distract myself. I have hope within myself that like I know people that are way far ahead of me that are 7 or 8 years off and they're fine, or they might have like a little bit of residual nerve pain, but it's nothing compared to, you know, what I have now. And I even have friends that are say like, Angie, I'm so excited for you because when I was 4 years off, it was still hell, but like at 5 years, it was so much better, and 6 was even better than that. So like that keeps me going, you know. And like I said, like I always say, like a bad day off meds is still better than a good day on them. So it is what it is. Lastly, I hope you even made it through this far. This is a long video. I never expected it to be this long, but I have another channel. It's called Being Human RV. And so I'm going to be posting lots of videos on that channel as soon as I can get started. But recently, this channel, for some reason, I think it's the Lisa Ling episode. Lisa Ling, if you search on YouTube, Lisa Ling Benzo Crisis, you can watch the episode. It was aired on like October 3rd. But ever since that episode aired, for some reason this benzo channel has like picked up. I'm over 1,000 subscribers. I'm getting like 500 views a day. It's like, holy crap, there's lots of people watching my video. So if you would like video on certain topics, I am willing to keep this channel going, especially if I can help, because I am 4 years off and I do a lot of advocacy in the background, you know, talking to doctors and prescribers and trying to convince them how to taper slower, and education, all kinds of stuff. So if you want more videos, please comment below what kind of videos you're looking for. I will try to make them, and they'll be much shorter than this, I promise. But I'm willing to do that if it helps somebody. I'm just working on my own healing process, like I said, and just trying to take it easy and do what I can. So if that helps, I am more than willing to help. And I will be remiss if I didn't say one more thing. That advocacy has been part of my healing, but also diet. So before I ever even tried to come off benzos, I was doing paleo. I think I have a 6-month video, My Healing Tools. That one has a little bit about paleo diet. I think at 11 months off, I did the Kelly Brogan protocol, which I did 99 days of like no gluten, sugar, dairy, no rice, potato, nothing, you know, like super clean diet. That resolved a lot of my sleep issues pretty quickly. It was shocking. So even me being like on a very good diet and then transitioning to a little bit stricter, I saw a difference. Okay, so in the last 11 months, I transitioned to keto for mostly my vestibular migraines, the neurological symptoms, my vision symptoms. And it didn't, I want to say it helped, it cut my anxiety like in half, even though I have horrible anxiety still. It helped the anxiety. It lessened my migraine activity. It lessened the length and the frequency of them. So And I lost 65 pounds that I had gained from the benzo withdrawal experience. So I'm a big proponent of do what works for you, but I don't think anybody should be eating crap. Whether you're in withdrawal or not withdrawal, we have an epidemic of diabetes from horrible food. You know, people, I see people like drinking 32 ounces of Diet Coke with cheeseburgers for breakfast, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I get it that people don't have money and economic forces behind the food system. I get it, but there are ways to eat a little bit more healthy than you are. So part of this process of like healing is like learning new ways to cope with your symptoms, to kind of taking your power back instead of handing your body over to this medical system to fix you. We do have our own we do have power a little bit, you know. So I don't know. I just really strongly suggest that people look into diet choices to help in their healing. Less sugar, less flour, less inflammation. It has done nothing but helped me. And when I randomly, you know, or when I purposely, sorry, eat something, you know, like I think for Thanksgiving I ate a pumpkin roll with cream cheese icing. I just ate like a little piece and I was fine. But I'm not going to go eat the whole roll, you know. So anyway, that's my spiel about diet. So I hope you enjoy the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you can. That helps other people see the video. And I appreciate your support. And keep healing. If I can heal from more than 40 drugs, I promise you that you can heal too. Thanks for watching.